Tonight we're going to see a group of children who absolutely love singing and dancing. They've been formed to create the 32nd African Children's Choir, and they come on stage with a joy and a passion and a zeal for life. And despite all of their present circumstances, the homes that they come from or the things that they've seen in their lives, they still have that excitement and purpose in life. And on stage they sing about the joy of the Lord and the hope that God's given them. And through that, people are moved about the potential of Africa through these children. A lot of these children come from families where they've lost one or both of their parents. It all depends on the individual child, but they come from very vulnerable situations. Some of them don't have a means for an education for the future. Some of them don't have a means for food for the future. And so they come out of these situations. The organization chooses them out of their ability, yes, but also out of their vulnerability, and gives them hope, a purpose, and a means for an education and a bright future. These children are all of the ages of 7 to 11. Typically it's a few concerts a week, and these children come out and do their concerts, but on those off days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we have a lot of downtime. The children do continue their education under the Ugandan school curriculum. All of these children are from Uganda, and so they continue their education there. They also have rehearsals for their concerts and a lot of playtime and just relaxing and sometimes seeing the sights of wherever we're at. The children come out for 1 tour length, and so they are often on the road for about a year. And after their year, they go back home and they continue on in their education through the sponsorships that they raise on the road. The sponsorships will hold them, their housing, their medical, their food, and their education right up until the end of university. The organization has been around since 1984, and so we are very excited to see the full cycle already starting to begin. We have had children from our first choirs who are starting to come through their university level education and have already come through their education and are starting to give back towards the children at the beginning and are making a difference in their community and in their countries. And so it's really exciting to see that. And you know, we've got thousands of children coming up through primary school, high school, university who are going to be graduating, and we're excited to see what continues to happen through the support that the organization is giving to these children. We're helping Africa's most vulnerable children today so that they can help Africa tomorrow.
I'm James Dick, founder and artist director of the Festival Institute at Round Top, which is in a very close proximity to Austin. You know, I think it takes, as far as mileage goes, probably it's around 70 to 80 miles, and it's almost equidistant to Houston. So we're right in between those two major centers, and we have so many people coming from both cities, as well as from San Antonio, Corpus, Victoria, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's a wonderful coming together. If people have friends in one part of the state and they're from another part of the state, they can come and meet here. It's a great coming together place. If you really want to know what Festival Hill looked like with their original 6 acres, be prepared. It was 5 town dumps, which had originally, well, not originally, it had originally been a wonderful forest probably, but then the area decided to make it a place for wasteland too, so it became town dumps. But there also had been a schoolhouse built some time ago on it, which was the first black school in Fayette County. And it's had a wonderful history. So we've kept this building and we still use it. We've changed it considerably into practice rooms, meeting rooms, rehearsal rooms as well. So it's been a very useful building. But I also think just from a historic preservation standpoint, it's very important to announce that that was a very important educational building for many years here. We have several buildings that we have brought in from other places that were going to be destroyed. For example, the chapel from LaGrange. It was going to be turned into toothpicks. We brought it in, restored it completely, redid it quite a lot. And then we have an undercroft, a kind of stone chapel underneath it, which we use for jazz concerts. We call it Café Café. The Makey House, where our wonderful dining hall is now, was a farmhouse in nearby Hempstead. It was also going to be torn down. And all the other buildings we built ourselves. The concert hall was just a steel structure. And then we had a portable stage, which we brought in, manufactured by Winger Corporation in Owatonna, Minnesota. And we used that portable stage for 15 years. And we had park benches from nearby Brenham that we finally rented. We bought some old steel chairs. And then we bought a lot of white plastic chairs from H-E-B. And we had those for nearly 20 years. Until last year, when we finally got these beautiful, wonderful concert chairs installed. So we put in our dues. I see all these young artists coming from all over the world to play and to make music here, to study. We have great orchestra concerts, great chamber music concerts, solo concerts. We also have a great guitar festival every February. That can't help but deeply inspire one to see that a place is fulfilling its responsibility and its commitment. People have a wonderful opportunity to get out into the real beauty of Central Texas, but also see how you can take that wonderful natural setting and enhance it, enlarge it, and also make it valuable for people to go back home and be inspired. And I think that's unusual for a concert hall, because sometimes we go to a concert hall, we kind of get involved in a cave, and we don't really sit back and kind of breathe about the whole experience. The gates of Festival Hill are open 365 days a year. They're never closed. So people can come and run or picnic or just walk around, see the gardens and enjoy the place. So from that standpoint, it's a community of everybody who comes here. Not only the people who work here, who love it deeply every day, every hour, but the people who come here, I hope, feel that too.
I'm Ron Paul, and I'm a Docublogger. Now, I got a twist tongue twice.
Docublogger.
Why do you get such a tongue twister?
I'm sorry.
I'm Ron Paul, and I'm a Docublogger.
My name is James Taylor Jr., and this is my wife, Sandra.
I'm Chani Sir. I'm the husband of Laura Sir.
And I'm Laura Sir. I'm the wife of Chani Sir.
My name is Kenyatta Dawson, and I am the wife of Josh.
I've had a black wife, I've had a white wife, and I've got a Latina.
It's about time. I was wondering where you'd been. Mom, this is John.
But you've got to stop and think. Have you thought what people would say about you? Why, in 16 or 17 states, you'd be breaking the law. You'd be criminals. And say they changed the law. That don't change the way people feel about this thing.
I've been studying children's racial attitudes and racial prejudice for about 15 years. And one of the things we look at is children's attitudes about race. When can you see the beginnings of racial prejudice and stereotyping? And it happens very early. By the time kids are 3 or 4 years old, they start to endorse racial stereotypes. And they also show an understanding or a bias toward thinking that people who are the same race should be best friends and get married.
Yeah, we see it. It's that look of the mouth turns up a little bit, you know, like they have a bad taste in their mouth or something.
So when I was hanging out with BSU, Black Student Union, you know, the people in the organization, student organization, they, you know, welcomed aspects of my life and my past boyfriend. But then when the semester began and, you know, groups got together again to see how summer went and so forth, I had a new addition in my life. And immediately I noticed a change in my friends. People weren't inviting me to events that were sponsored by the organization anymore. And I just felt ostracized. It was immediate, so I didn't have time to respond to it.
But like you said, we've been together for so long, we don't really even think about it until we're in a restaurant or something, and it's like, what are these people looking at? Oh, that's right, you're black and I'm white. I forgot.
Something we used to do, though, when we were searching for housing as long as she was happy, I'd be fine. So I let her go look first and figure out what she wanted and get all the paperwork together. So when we already sign it, it ain't likely to say they don't have no housing. They'd be a little shocked though when I walked in there, but whatever works, right? So.
You still do that?
Yeah, I do.
We went to Boston, Massachusetts. We had breakfast, which I usually go there once a week, sit in a Chinese restaurant, and I walk in with Laura and a couple other friends, sit around, and no service. The guy would just look at us like, so you hanging out with a white woman, you think you're a big shot now? How about this? No service. We're sitting there for 45 minutes before we got a water served, and, stuff like that.
Look, you can take my order. Matter of fact, you could have taken my order 30 minutes ago when I sat my black ass in this chair.
Take your order?
Excuse me. Do you have a problem?
Yes, I do have a problem, to be honest with you. You fake, tired brothers like you coming in here, that's so typical. I can't even believe you brought her stringy hair ass up here to eat.
We wrote a story where the main character is a white boy, and he goes to videotape a wedding with his brother, who's a videographer. And in the wedding, these two people get married. So it's an interracial marriage. Nothing is ever said about that in the story. We just say the boy is videotaping, the bride and groom come to the front, they hear the vows, and there's a best man, and this is the best man character. And then a few minutes after the story, we say, oh, great, can you tell me about that story? What was that boy's brother's job? What were they going to the wedding to do? And the kid has to say he's a videographer. And then we ask, can you show me which of these couples got married? Who got married in that story? And what we find is that often more than half of the children we test will say, these people got married. They just distort. And what that suggests to us as psychologists is that this couple was one that didn't fit their idea, or what we call their schema about who should get married. It violated what they think is the rule for social relationships, which is people should marry people like their same color or their same race.
I don't know what he would have said if he were still alive and David and I were together. I have no idea.
He'd have a heart attack.
He probably would. Somebody was saying he's probably, I think it was my sister. She says, Daddy's probably turning in his grave. And I said, yeah.
I was in love in those days, as I call it, nose wide open, whatever you want to call it. So it didn't really matter what someone else said. The only thing that really bothered me was my mother had issues with it.
A week before our wedding, we got a letter from her mother that basically disowned her. So.
Yeah. They stopped. And in fact, more recently, in the last 4 years or so, that my father's actually begun speaking with me and having a relationship.
One of the things that is very clear is that the media has always been and continues to depict racially segregated family life and friendship lives. Friends was the best example of that group on Friends never having any friends of any other different race. The important thing is not that the friends on that show ever stood up and said, we hate black people, we won't be friends with any. They never said that. It was just the implicit message. What they modeled was that they didn't like black people. Because they didn't show any friendships with African Americans or Latinos on the show.
First one I remember was Sidney Poitier, and was it Guess Who Coming to Dinner?
Yeah, that's exactly the one that I was going to say too.
Gosh, I don't know.
I can't think of any.
I can't either. Wait a minute. The Jeffersons.
There's a lot of things I didn't know.
I'm beginning to believe I acted stupidly, too.
Honky see, honky do.
But one of the things that I always look at whenever media does depict interracial relationships is how is it depicted, positively or negatively, or as a real couple.
Point is those people were put in those shows to make a point.
Yeah.
And to this day, you still don't see interracial things on TV that much, and if there are, it is to make a point.
huh? Who do you think you're fooling? No one's over here, huh? I'm warning you. You, listen, you leave off women alone. Oh!
Hey, where you going? What happened?
I met your daddy.
Listen, just get out and
Get
talk
off.
to me. Don't
Get your
let it
hands
be too
off
late.
me.
You can't do that.
So? Okay, we're a couple. Whatever, don't make a big deal about it.
Every time I'd call home, I'd talk about this guy, James. James this and James that. And then I finally told him that, you know, James and I want to get married. And I had just been putting this off to tell them that he was a black guy. And it was my mom on the phone, and I finally said, you know, James is black. And she said, we know that. We've known that from the very start, you know, when you kept calling him James, because normally white people, it'll be Jim. You know, they'll have a nickname, Jim. So when you kept saying James, and you don't know that? James, she knew that he was black. And my parents didn't give me a hard time.
Your grandfather, before he passed away, he called me and talked to me about her father relationship. And what he said to me is that, listen, I want you to know that to leave Floyd alone. He called him, that's her father, leave Floyd alone. Let him be. Where he come from, they don't even mix cattle, much less people. And that was remarkable for him to make that statement. And that was 2 weeks before he passed away.
But like he talked about it, excuse me, his mother earlier, and she was kind of dead set against us being together when we first were married. In the last few years, she has changed so much. I mean, she probably changed before then, but now she tells me, and she means it, that she loves me as though I was her own.
I don't think an apology is necessary. I think it's just we just accepted that that's just the way he is, and at least right now he opened up his mind enough to see his grandchildren and so on and so forth, and that's good enough.
I thought she was the prettiest thing I ever seen when I first seen her.
He has really been sucking
No, I'm
up
serious.
since you guys
I
got
never
here.
forget the first time I seen her. I can tell you exactly where I seen her.
You were laughing at my high water pants.
This is true too.
I remember one of the initial attractions I had to her was when she was in shorts, the ponytail, and had her rollerblades on.
I saw Laura, I fell in love right away. So it didn't take any more than 2 minutes, you know. So.
Well, he did think I was from Texas, which I thought that was really funny, because he did this sort of, he introduced himself and he said, howdy, and like...
I said that anyway to anybody, not just the people from Texas.
My initial attraction to you was, like, your polo shirt had a little bit of hair. That Teen Wolf thing going on.
She couldn't cook black food at first, so I had to take her home to my mom's, you know, so it worked out pretty good. We stayed there for 3 weeks. You remember that?
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
But,
yes, I do.
You know...
And I was not in the kitchen with your mother for 3 weeks.
I learned how to eat pumpkin pie, and I had never ate that before in my life. You know what I mean?
You still don't like it.
And pizza. I ate more pizza when we first got married than I don't like pizza to this day. You know what I mean? Because my baby could cook some pizza.
What about spaghetti, dear?
Spaghetti. Lord have mercy. I don't eat no spaghetti neither. You know what I mean?
So we got a reputation throughout all the senior centers in Austin about how we danced all night long and we wouldn't get off the dance floor. We just had so much fun. And he would say, but I don't know how to dance. I said, come on, I'll show you. You just follow me. You don't have to do nothing. I'll do all the moving around. They're not going to look at you anyway. We never make references as to my race or his race. You know, we never do that. We're just David and Maria, and that's it.
Become a Docublogger. Log on to Docubloggers.org to share your opinions and story ideas, or get out your camera and create your own docublog.